So the next step requires a little bit of jumping around. So I want to show you the end result of what I want of what we're doing. So as we're doing it, you kind of know why we're doing it, and what we're getting to. So I'm not going to go into tons of detail on how to do this, but we need to, when you're setting up, adding a student, you're going to want to give them a couple of things. One's called a contract, and one's called a membership. Now, a contract is what is going to bill them. So if you're using Billing Direct or Champion's Way to bill, you definitely need a contract. Now, if you don't use us to bill, you probably can get away without using it. But anyway, I assume most people use us for billing. So um, the contract bills, and then the membership is what allows them to come to classes of a certain style. So if you have classes in, say, um, cardio, kickboxing, and taekwondo, so if I'm allowed to come to classes in both styles, I would need a membership in both styles. So there will be cases where people have one contract, but they have multiple memberships because they train in many styles. Or there'll be situations where, if a mother is paying for their two kids, so she would have a contract, but her kids would just have memberships. Um, so to set that up on a student, you would go into a student, find someone, um, go into their contract. I'm going to add a new contract. Now, there's all this information that needs to be filled in. The top section here, if you fill this out properly, it creates the membership for you. So that's one less step. But it gives you your start and your end date and the totals. So rather than you coming through here every time and filling out all of this information, filling out what the program is and so on, what we can do is create templates in the top right here. So this is what I want to show you how to do, is create these. So where it says 12-month karate or 12-month taekwondo, you click that, and it fills out the form exactly how you want it filled out. So it puts the membership name in, or the program name in, gives you a style. So this top section is important because it creates the membership for you. It eliminates that whole step. But yeah, these are really important to just make sure data entry is accurate, and it's just going to save you time. So I mean, it's a little bit of setup, but over time you'll be glad you did it. But yeah, so I save here. If I go back and look in memberships, it's created me a Taekwondo membership. Yeah, so that's what I want to show you how to do. But like I said, we got to jump around a little bit to kind of get that all to come together. So it's nice to see what we're actually doing. So before we can even start setting them up, we need to make sure we have style in, which we've already done, but we also need program names in. So the program is just a method for tracking memberships and contracts, and how much money you're making from them. So if you look at some of these examples in here, you'll see that they're just a name. There's no details whatsoever. It's just a name. And the best way to think of these is you got money coming in every month from tuition. How do you want to see that broken up? Now I've been really simple about how I've done these. Just how much money are my Taekwondo memberships making? How much money is my Masters Club making me? How much money is my cardio kickboxing making? And so on. But you could be more detailed. Maybe you only teach Taekwondo, so you want to start to measure, how much money is your month-to-month making versus your 12-month versus your black belt club, 36-month or something like that. So I can't really tell you exactly how to do this. I have no idea how you want to see your income broken down, but that's kind of how you want to label these. Is just if you do programs that are twice a week versus 3 times a week, stuff like that. But I'm going to stick with just style names. So I want to compare the styles. How much does judo make me versus karate? And of course, you can always change this stuff down the road. So if you kind of set it up and you're like, you know what, I don't like that, you can change it. It's fine. All right, so you would probably get everything in. I'm just going to stick with the style that we've done today. So judo membership. Okay, so then this next one takes a little bit to get to, so I would suggest you write it down. I'll also type it into the little chat window. Um, so you need to be in setup. You need to click on development. You need to go into objects. Within objects, you need to find contract. And then from contract, you need to go into templates. So let me just type that into this chat window. Okay, there you go. Okay, so once you're in here, you want to hit new. So then the name would be something like 12-month judo. Description's not required, but if you want to fill that in, you can. You're the only one that would ever see it. So we want to check the add membership box. We want to select our program. So you hit the look up here. Just want to find judo. Go. Grab the style, which would also just be judo. Okay, so we don't need to touch anything else, just those three fields. Student we won't touch because it's be different every time we use this. The start date, we want to say, start it today, whatever that day may be. So on the far right here, we got these little FX, these little function buttons. So we can say day, start date today, and then expire date will be something similar. So we've said 12 months, so we want to say add months. And then n is just a variable. We replace that with the number of months we wanted to add. So when I apply this to someone, it'll put in that day's date and then a date 12 months into the future. Okay, so then the type we'll set to limited because it's for a limited amount of time. And we'll come back and do an example of ongoing. So type is limited and the status is active. Now this rollover section doesn't apply to an agreement that expires. So we'll come back to it in the next example. I'll explain how to use this. But if it's a limited agreement, this will not be used. Okay, so you want to come down to the pricing. So the amount, I'm going to keep the numbers nice and even. So we'll say it's $1,200 for the entire year. And the first payment, which is due today, is $100. So deferred payment, you don't need to touch. It's going to figure that out for you. So then we want to say the payment pattern is odds are monthly, but there are many options. So monthly. The payment start date. So if like today is the 12th, if you sign them up on the 12th of August and you want to say their first payment date is September 12th, what you would do is use this FX button, say add months, and then you just want to add 1 month. And it'll always set their first payment date month into the future. So number of payments is 11. So this is like number of remaining payments after the $100 down payment. And then each payment, it's going to figure out for you, so there's no point in filling that out. Okay, so, and just kind of a side note, you can't, like, when you apply this to someone, if you want to change it, you can. So it's not like it's set in stone. If you choose this one, but for whatever reason you want to move the payment start date, or you want to, they want to pay more for the down payment, you can, before you actually activate it, you can make changes. All right, so we're going to hit next. All this is asking is what profiles are allowed to use this template. So the thing is, though, I would just say everyone, because if they don't have access to contracts to begin with, they're not going to be able to use these. So down the road, if you decide that, oh, this person, this profile, you know what, I want them to have access to contracts, you give them access to contracts, they'll automatically have access to all of these templates. But if you don't check them now, you'd have to go back in and allow them to use each one, which would be kind of a pain. So I say just check them all, and then save. Okay, so let's do one more example. we'll do an ongoing one. So we'll say new. So judo ongoing. I'm going to add the membership. Choose our judo program. That will be judo. Okay, so then the start date we're going to say today. Now we don't want to have any expire date because it's month to month. So the type needs to be ongoing. Status will be active. So what this rollover is for is a paper contract. So if you do agreements that you say, okay, well you need to sign up for 12 months, but after that you go month to month. You can use that. You can use this rollover date as the 12-month date. So in the system, it's ongoing. Like as far as the computer's concerned, it's just a month-to-month agreement anyway. But by checking rollover and then maybe saying, add month 12, you could print off a contract that says your monthly payment is $125. You must make that payment until this rollover date. After that date, you will go month to month and you can cancel anytime. So in the system, it is just a month-to-month agreement that will never expire, but the rollover date allows you to print off a document that says they have to make payments until a certain day. So that's what that section's for. So then the amount, so I'm going to actually clear this out. Okay, so the amount is what they pay monthly. Pay now, again, is their first payment. Deferred payment will fill itself in. Check this, the ongoing box. I'm pretty sure it would have checked itself. When you check ongoing up here, it's going to check it down here too, so it's not a huge deal if you check that. The payment pattern, again, we'll say is monthly. Payment start date, let's do it again so it's 1 month into the future. Add months, replace the N with the number of months we want to add, so I say 1. Number of payments, because it's ongoing, we have no clue, so we won't fill that in. And then each payment will fill itself in again. Okay, next. And again, I'm going to check off everyone. Okay, so that is how you get those templates done. So like I said, I really recommend you do them. It's just gonna save time, and especially if you have staff data entry issues. Do you really want them figuring out what 12 months in the future is every time they sign something up? Probably not. So I'm gonna get out of setup though. We're good in there for now.